logged in.
I'm just going to record this for you guys. You don't
Okay,
have
thank
to
you.
log in. And in fact, that's one of the things is you can only have one person in the editor at a time because it has an auto save. So it has to know which one to save. So it gets confused if you have more than one person in there, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be a problem for you guys.
Is it to
Um,
log into the Wix app?
so not to log into Wix. When you log
Oh,
into Wix, you're
okay.
gonna end up at a dashboard sort of like
Yes.
this. Actually, you'll end up at a
Yeah.
dashboard like this, where you'll see your site
Yes.
right here. I
Yep.
have many sites, but you'll choose your site. And
Yep.
then when you click on that site, you'll see this dashboard here.
Yes.
So in the dashboard, you've got all the different settings for the back end of the site. You don't need to worry too much about. There's things like blogs and things that you can control from here.
Yes.
I don't think you really are doing much with that,
No.
but you are able to also um, control the forms through here. So we're going to
Yeah,
talk about
that's
that as well.
okay, because
Did
that's
you
what I'm
poke
seeing
around?
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So basically to get into the editor, we'll just cover the editor first. You're just going to
Okay.
click on this edit site button, which is you have to be on home on the left-hand side, and then you click on edit site, and that will open up the editor. I'm not sure if you've done that yet.
Oh, edit
Um,
site. No, I haven't. Okay.
yeah, so that will open up the editor, and that's the thing that you can only have one person in at a time.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the
Okay.
editor, this is where you would make changes to the actual website itself. So this is the site. It looks like the live site. Here's the live
Yeah.
site. Here's
Okay.
the editor, but see how there are lines and you can click on things. So the editor has a number of tools around the perimeter. You've got this add elements button up here, which is for adding buttons and text and basically anything that you want to add to the page. We'll talk
Okay.
about that in a second. And the other thing that you'll need is pages and menu. So here is how you navigate between the different pages on the site. So if I were to go to the about page, if I want to go to the about page, I'd click on this and then close this, and then I'm on the about page.
Okay.
So
So it's the
it's,
drop down menu beside home,
yeah, that's,
basically. Okay. All
so
right.
are you in the editor? So this is what will
Yeah.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
if you
am.
can close your editor,
Okay. Perfect. I
then,
will.
and
Okay.
just, you can just
All
watch
right.
this one for now.
Okay.
No, that's okay, because it won't let both of us be in at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm just going to refresh mine for a sec.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, pages and menu is how you navigate between the pages. It's just loading here. And I'll just go back in here for a second. Pages and menu. So that's how you navigate between the pages. It's also how you would reorder the pages. So as you see, I can scroll over these and there's little buttons here that I can pull to pull these pages into different order if I
Okay.
wanted. You can also click on this little button on the right-hand side of each menu item, and it gives you more options. So you could rename a page, you could duplicate a page. If you
Okay.
wanted a new page that had similar content, you could just duplicate it and then adjust the content. You can
Okay.
hide the page. So maybe there's something seasonal. Maybe there's a form that you have at a certain
Hmm.
time of the year, but then you don't need it showing. You can just hide it from your menu by clicking
Perfect.
hide from menu. Um, and then another thing you'll notice in here is there are some things, some of these pages are not actually pages. This is just a category that houses these pages. So this isn't an actual page. So when I click on that, there's nothing there. It's just
Okay.
a category for all the forms. And then this one here is, it has a little link because that's linking to to our CMS, which is the content management that's built in with Wix. And that's where all of your community information is. And I'll show you that in a second. So let's take a look at the page here for a minute. The page, you're probably not going to need to make any massive structural changes, so I'm not going to go too into detail, but
No.
it's really amazing how much design you can do with this software. It's really open-ended. So this is all text boxes. You can double click on them and you can change that text whenever you want. When you click on text, also this little text box comes up and you can adjust the size and the fonts and colors and all of that. This is just a button, which you can fully design however you want. You can change what that says by just double clicking on it. And you can also change where it links to by clicking this LinkedIn button. And this shows you all the different things you can link to. So right now, this button is linking to a page on your site. It's linking to apply online. But you can
Okay.
also link to external web addresses or documents and that sort of thing, which we do in other places. So basically, you would probably maybe be changing a little bit of language in a few places, which you're just going to do by double clicking the text and editing it the way you would in Word. All of the content is in these big strips, which is what we call them. There's sort of a piece of space on the site, and you can drag anything that you click on has these little arrows, and you can drag things up and down to make more or less space. So if you wanted to add more space here, you can just click on the element that's below it and make a bit more space and then add in more content there. But also if you started typing more in there, it will just move everything down on its
Yeah.
own. So it's pretty user friendly. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, so as for editing the content, it's super easy. You just go in and click on that text. This is the footer of the site, which shows on every page, just like the
Okay.
header shows on every page. And your menu is in a light box, which I don't always do, but it's becoming more and more popular, which means that it doesn't have all the menu items right there in the menu. You click on this and it opens up. And the demographic of people using this site will understand that. So that's why I didn't hesitate to use it. And this is kind of the direction that a lot of websites are going in because it doesn't take up so much space in the header. And it just feels kind of like clean and easy to
Hmm.
read. Um, so basically, I'm gonna go to, actually, I'll just show you the buttons at the top of the page here. If you make changes to the site, you can save them, which just saves it to the back end of, it doesn't make them published, it just saves them. So let's say you're working on a few changes, but you're not ready to publish it to the internet, you just click save. But if you've made a couple changes and you're ready to make it live to the internet, you hit publish. And if you want to just see how something looks on the site, you can just hit preview and that shows you the site with all the little animations and the scroll effects, and it just shows you how it looks in real life. Um, and one other thing in here, you've got this little mobile button here. So this mobile button shows you what the site looks like on a mobile device. So it's sort of a
Okay.
pared down, yeah, like a lot of people will access the site like this. So it's a good
Yes.
idea if you make changes to just quickly switch over into mobile. You navigate between the pages the same way in this
Nice.
pages and menus. And just take a look to make sure nothing's overlapping. There's no text that you can't really read. It's usually pretty good. Like, especially if you're just making changes to text, it'll be fine. But if you're adding chunks of text and things, it's just a good idea to check. Sometimes you'll find things will be a little bit squished together and you can just click on any element and just space them out. So yeah, everything has these arrows. You can actually move things around, like, so you can sort of clean them up. You can also just ask me and I can run in and take a look and just clean it up because the mobile can be really intimidating for people. It's pretty important. You'll find that probably 60 to 70% of your people will look at it on mobile. So it's really important. The mobile site also has some cool tools like this back to the top button, which if you click on that on mobile, it brings you right back to the top of the screen. And this quick action bar, which we have this apply now button in, which is just handy. If someone's looking at it on their phone, they can just quickly get to those pages, like to things that are important.
That's
Do you have any
great.
questions? Yeah, do you have
That's
any
great.
questions about any of that?
No, actually, the things that I would be doing, it's sort of very similar, like the terminology you're using is very similar to what it was like in the old website. It definitely isn't the same looking, but and I like the fact that you can just double click on the info to change things.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
nice.
great.
Yeah, sometimes another, like in Squarespace or some other platforms, you have to go elsewhere to make the changes over here. And it's a bit confusing. Here, you just go
Yes,
where you want to make the change and you make it right there.
which is
Um,
great.
yeah, it's great. And the other thing that's nice is you have this little undo and redo button.
Oh,
So if I
good.
were to, let's say I move this over here and then I can't figure out how to get it back, I can just go undo and it will undo a number of steps, or even redo.
Oh,
So that's kind of
perfect.
handy.
Nice.
So the one thing that you might be accessing with the site is the CMS. So I'll just show you where on the site this is. This communities section here, it has the list of all the communities. And rather than making a separate page for each of these, we've used this software that allows the website to take data and make it into pages on its own for each of these communities. So when I go to this page, it has all these different communities. When I click on one of them, it takes you to its own page that has the information we've put in here. So
Oh,
I'll
that's
show you
great.
how, yeah, how to access that. That is in a special place. So you're not going to go to the page for arm prior. There is no page for arm prior. It's
Okay.
using this data set. So the way you do that is in this spot here called CMS. So you go into here and it's under your collections. So under here, you'll see communities and you open that up. And this is kind of like an Excel sheet. So it has a different community here and then it has all the information for it. So the best way to look at this info is just to go to the one you want. Let's go to Picton and you open it. And this will show you all the content that I've put in. And it's basically just whatever content was on the site.
Oh,
So on the old site.
it's almost identical to the old one for the
Perfect.
communities. So
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
looks good.
great.
Yeah.
Great. So I've put this link to the map there, vehicle needed or not. We can make
Super.
more like categories if you want for things, but
Okay.
this is what we have built on here.
Perfect.
Accommodation, there's a couple spots for testimonials. If there aren't any, then I just leave those blank. We've got, you can add pictures. And then there were community links. Some of them had many community links and some of them didn't have any. So I
Yeah.
left a bunch of spaces for them, but you don't have to fill them in. So
Okay.
just put in whatever information you have. I mean, it's already populated, but if you had something to add, hopefully there would be space to add it here. And then
Great.
you would just click save. There, you just click save, and that will add it to this little database and it will automatically show on the site.
Perfect.
So it's pretty
Nice.
easy to use. It seems a little intimidating when you look at all this data, but just think of it kind of like an Excel sheet. And,
Mhm.
I do recommend you just open up whichever one you're working on. You can actually put in information like this, but it can be a little bit finicky. It's better to just open up the community that you need to change. And then if you want to add a new one, you just go to add item
Oh,
and then
perfect.
put in the information and click save.
Now, if I wanted
So
to put one on hold, like so nobody could see it, is there a way to do that?
Um, yeah, let's see. If you added, put one on hold.
Like unpublish it, sorry,
Hmm.
unpublish the community.
Hmm.
It's all right if it can't be. I just
Are you
wondered.
going to be adding it on later again?
Yeah, I could possibly, but some communities we end up not using them for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So they might
see.
need to
So it'd be
be
nice to be able,
unpublished.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice to hide it. And then when
Like if
they,
a doctor has moved or something and there's
Right.
no longer
yeah,
teaching facilities there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I know there would be a way to do that. I'm gonna have to look into that. But
Okay.
for now, if it was one that you could delete it. Like you could just click on it and then delete it, but you
Okay.
don't want to have to put all the information in there again. I'm
No.
gonna look into that because I'm sure there is a way to just hide
Okay.
an item in the CMS. That's a really good question. Okay, so I'll find the answer to that.
Okay.
But yeah, if you wanted to add more, if I scroll over to the right here, you can see there's all the different fields and you can add more fields here. And when you add a field, it gives you many options for what you want it to be, a text box, a link, an image, a gallery. Like there's all these different types of things that you can make it. But generally, it's usually a text box or a
Okay.
picture or a link for this sort of
Okay.
thing. So that's that. I'm going to close that for a second. And that. So let's look at the forms. Was there anything else on the site? Like what else are you going to be interacting with on the site on a regular basis?
The applications, putting info in for like Community Week. I think I'm not sure if you've got a page for Community Week.
Yep, we do. It's
It's
right here.
perfect. So date changes,
Okay, so
things like that. Yeah,
that's going to be really, really doable for you. I mean, you just go to
perfect.
Community Week. And this is just text.
Oh,
So you
perfect.
could literally just click on this and put in whatever text you want. You'll also
Perfect.
notice the text boxes have these little dots here. So if
Hmm.
you wanted to put a picture here, you can make that text box smaller and put a picture.
Oh,
I'll just show
okay.
you this
Nice.
quickly,
Oh,
because we
that'd be
haven't
great.
really done too much in the editor, but to add
Okay.
a picture or a button or whatever, you would go up to this add elements button here and then go to image.
Okay.
So in here, you can upload an image or you can use a stock photo if you want. When you click on upload a photo, it's going to bring you to this where you can upload something from your computer. And if you
Yep.
close this out, it will show you all of your site files, which it looks like, have you been in there? Because this is really tidy.
No.
No. Okay. I guess I put
Nope.
it on folders. Okay, so I have put everything into folders apparently. I don't remember doing that, but it was a couple months
Oh,
ago.
good.
So communities, this is all the pictures that we used for the communities pages.
Okay.
But you can upload a picture from your
Oh, perfect.
computer, or you can use stock photos, which are free. There's media from Wix, which is really handy because these photos are all optimized for web, which means they're not like massive files that are going to slow down your site. They're ready to use. So you
Oh,
would go
good.
to, medical, just type in whatever keyword you want, and you can find picture, but you click on it and you go add to page, and that will put it on the page. And you can basically grab the corners, crop it, adjust it
Nice.
however you want.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
That is
yeah.
great.
Definitely adding a picture to Community Week.
Oh,
Great.
yes. I'm thinking the
Well,
same thing.
Yeah,
okay, do you want me to leave a photo there and you can just change the photo? Like,
sure.
so to change it, you're just gonna go, you click on the photo and go to
Hmm.
change image, and then you'll get this box coming up again. So now you
Perfect.
decide, do you want to upload a photo? There's also the
Okay.
photos that we had added
Yes.
of the doctors. So we
Oh,
could put
yeah,
in,
perfect.
one of these
Yep.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then you can, if you wanted to crop it, you double click it. You've got all these options here. Crop allows you to grab the edges
Okay.
and just make it a
Yep.
different size or shape, you know,
Oh, that's
Actually,
and then hit
perfect.
apply.
that's one of my main community week photos.
Is
Yeah.
it? Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
That's
presentation.
great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dr.
Well,
Lou.
do you want to use that one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Perfect. So, to add other things, like if you needed to add a button where you're linking to something, it's the same. You just go
Oh,
to
okay.
add button, and then you can grab one of these buttons and drag it on the page. You can also just take a button that exists already that I've already designed and copy it. So
Okay.
you could click on it and go Control C, and then go somewhere else and go Control V. I don't know if you ever do that on your
Yep.
computer. Control C,
Yeah.
Control V, and then you've got that button. Just make sure that you adjust where it's linking to, the way I
Perfect.
showed you here. So make sure you put it linking to the right thing, and then you double click on it and change the text, to whatever you want it to say.
Oh, that's
And you can
great.
adjust the size of it or whatever. And see, I would want more
Oh,
space here, so I just use the little
Yeah.
arrows. So it's kind of fun to play around with it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's great.
yeah. So yeah, there's
should change
buttons
your
and all kinds of things. What's that?
we should change your address while we're at this. We
Oh,
moved.
yeah.
Oh, which address? Oh, this one?
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right. You're on Harriet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the address?
205
Mm-hmm.
dash 8 Harriet.
Okay.
Yeah. And no east. Yeah. And then the
And so
postal code is 1S9.
is it the second floor still?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
And we
perfect.
can take the toll free out of there as well.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There we go. So
Yeah.
see how easy that is? It's kind of just like
Oh my
editing a Word
gosh.
file.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah, that's
So
that's great.
we should probably go over to the contact page then quickly and change that because it'll have that information as well. So got it at bottom 205-8. Okay, second floor.
No,
And then
that can go too.
1S9. Yeah.
second floor can go. We
Can
don't
it
need
go?
that.
We are on the second floor though, so we have
Oh, okay.
visitors and stuff. I think we should leave it there.
Okay.
Okay. So I've made those changes. So now I'm going to hit publish,
Perfect.
and that will show you, congratulations, it's been published, and you can click there to see the live site. Close that up. So the forms are, if I go to some of the forms on here, the forms all fall under this category here, forms. Let's
Mhm.
go to the clerk's application. So you sent me a whole bunch of forms.
Yes.
I think when I was building this out, we were kind of building off of a couple of other types of documents that Sandra has sent me. And yeah, it probably needs some tweaking. So I'm sorry about that. I can just kind of
That's
canvas
okay.
whatever,
Yep, yep.
whatever documents you want me to match it up to. But basically the way it works with Wix is these forms are controlled at the dashboard. So you're not going to click on this text to change it. As soon as you double click on the form, it's going to open it up in the dashboard where you're controlling your forms. So let me just go back to forms here for a second. You'll see all the forms that we've created are here.
Perfect.
And you can also access those just straight from the dashboard when you log into Wix under customers and leads, forms and submissions. So back in
Yeah.
here, this is where we were before in the
Yeah.
dashboard. Customers and leads, forms and submissions is there. So we're kind of in two different dashboards at the same time right now. But so here we are. If we click on, let's say, the post-grad form, you'll see you can access some settings here, like the form notifications. So I put you on the notifications. Are you getting some of those forms that are being submitted?
Yes, I
Good.
am. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, I'm still on there because I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
But I'll take myself off. But yeah, we just want to make sure they're not
Yeah.
being
No, it's
missed. But
great.
you can, if you do miss them or you can't find them in your emails, you can see all the forms in here as well. You
Perfect.
can view all the submissions from here for that particular form. So these are the submissions so far.
Yes.
And then if you click on them, it'll show you all of the details on the form
Yes.
here. Just come back out here. And then if I go to edit, I can edit the actual form. So let's move that out of the way. So I'll need to go through and cross-reference the
Okay.
examples that you sent me.
Yes.
For exactly what you want. But if you needed to make a tweak, I'll just show you kind of how this is set up. It's pretty user-friendly. You can click on a field and you can use these to kind of pull them into different orders like that.
Okay.
You can click on settings and oops, Zoom is in the way here. And you can change the form name. So like, let's say you wanted this to be a phone number instead, you can just change
Okay.
it there. But this is first name. You can make it a required field by switching that little toggle on.
Perfect.
You can give it placeholder text. So if you wanted to give people an example, enter your first name. So if people
Okay.
were misunderstanding, you could give them a little example of what you want to see there.
Oh, okay.
And then to add new fields, that's done over here. So you can grab some of these common fields here, like email address, which we have on here anyways, but to add them, you just grab it. Okay, upgrade. Oh, wow. Okay, so I think we've maxed out our fields.
Mhm.
But yeah, okay, so they allow a certain number of forms and a certain number of fields with the basic plan on Wix, and it looks like we've added enough, like we can't add any more fields. So I'll need to look at that. If I cross-reference and I find there are new fields that we need to add, then we might need to upgrade some part of Wix to do that
Okay.
if you want to keep the forms in here.
Yeah, there was the
Um,
forms look really good. There was drop-down menus and calendars that I wanted added.
oh,
So
okay.
yeah, but you'll see
Drop-down
that when you
menus.
look through them.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just do that, and then if I have questions, I'll ask you.
Yes,
But
exactly.
basically, these things are all
Oh, the
they're
dates.
just
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, like you can add long
Okay.
answer, short answer. You
Yeah.
can add signatures, file uploads. Like you can have people upload a document like a resume or a CV.
Okay. Yeah.
And then yeah, you can use whatever like date pickers or single choice, multi-choice drop downs. So I'll go through
Yeah.
and I'll just align it to
Okay.
the example
Perfect.
that you gave me. I'll just show you what I've got the one you sent me, the forms you sent me, I can open them in a Google Doc. Is that okay? Will it
Yeah, that's
show
fine.
okay in a Google Doc? Okay.
Yeah, it
Because
should be
sometimes
fine.
when things convert from Word to Google
Oh,
Doc, they can look a bit
okay.
wonky, but it looked okay when I opened it, so hopefully
Okay.
it's all right.
Yeah, I think you'll get the
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's
The
good.
the other concern that I had was printing them out.
Okay.
It was, to be able to, it was very narrow on, like, I think 3 pages. If it can be widened up so that it could be printed out on 2 pages so that it's a little easier to read and to be able to find information would be great.
So on your end, or like when you print out the forms that have been filled out?
When I get a form that's been submitted, I need to
Mhm.
print that form out.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you meant for the person filling out the form.
No,
Okay, so
no.
let's go into there and we'll see.
Okay.
There's got to be a way to view it in kind of a print view. Let's see here. View submissions. This might be something I have to look at as well and then come back to because I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a way, but
Okay.
this form system, the way it is now, is fairly new and I haven't done that before.
Okay.
Looked at
Yeah, and the way I had sort of laid out what I sent you was almost like in sort of blocks of information. You'll see that
yeah,
because I had like I had put boxes around things,
okay.
and it's sort of done in a way that makes it easy to find the information.
Right, of course.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And then to be able to print it out and see things in those
Yeah,
fields, like in those boxes, is really
yeah.
helpful.
For sure. That makes sense. Just see if I can, you know, emissions. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it. I'm sure there's a way though.
Yeah,
So
because when I
I'll
was
look into
in there
that.
too, there was no way to print things.
And there's gotta be. I know there
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
I'm just not looking in the right place and
Okay.
I'm not familiar with where that setting is at the moment.
Okay.
So
That's
oh
fine because
that's a good
I've
one.
just sort of
So
been copying and pasting and so I can print them out.
yeah, no,
So, yeah.
that's not doable.
No.
Okay, so I'll look into the printing the forms and
Perfect.
also the how to hide an item in the CMS.
Oh, yes.
Um, so let me see. That was in short the list of things that I had that I wanted to go through with you.
No, that's
Um,
great.
but I'm sure there are a million other things. And as you're using it, questions will arise. So please
Yeah.
don't hesitate to reach out because it does take a little time to get familiar with everything. There are so many options.
Yeah.
And it's user friendly, but there are a lot of things that you can do. So it
Yeah.
can you can get a little turned around.
Yeah,
Other
we're pretty
things,
good because the
yeah,
only thing we really do is change some like dates or a little bit of wording or add a little more
perfect.
wording. So we're not
Yeah,
going to be doing too many crazy things.
okay, that's good. Yeah, it sounds like mostly it'll be the forms that you're interacting with. So we'll figure out that printing and then it should be pretty easy. And once it's set up the way that you want it, you probably won't be making any massive changes to it.
No.
So that's probably good.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything else in here. You can poke around in here, but
Okay.
there's like some analytics for the site that you can look at
Okay.
for different who's accessing the site. I mean, it's very new, so it won't have very much yet,
Okay.
but you'd
Perfect.
be able to see things like where traffic is coming from, like if it's direct link, if people are putting in your web address or if they're finding you on Google or like right now, you've got 63 on desktop and 38 on mobile. That's probably because we're
Okay.
the ones accessing the site right now,
Yeah.
mostly. But you like people are filling out the form, so people are using the
Yeah,
site.
that's
Um,
great.
and this shows like where they're coming from. So it's kind of interesting to see
Oh,
this
that's really
data.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you can look at different time periods, and then there's like behaviors. You can see which pages people go to. There's like a ton of information on here
Oh, good.
that you can look at. So you can always play around with that. And the settings in here, this is where you would access any domain or anything like that, but you're not going to need to do any of that. The roles and permissions is if you had somebody like a co-op student that needed to access the site, you could invite them as a collaborator. So that's what I did with you. And eventually, like I'll just transfer the site. Like, did you want me to just transfer the site ownership to you, Jennifer? And then like once I
I
got everything completely finished, or
I think,
I
yeah,
usually,
we'll leave it with you for now.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
usually
I
stay on
think
there for
it's
a while just to
perfect
make sure
because
everything's set up.
exactly, I think we need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you did want to add somebody to help with the site, but you didn't want to give them your login, you can just invite them as a collaborator. You just put in their email
Okay.
address and you give them a role, and it only gives them
Okay.
access to different parts, like specific parts of the site, which is nice.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so you could make them
Perfect.
like a website manager or like a website designer, and they can only
Okay.
change design, but they can't access, any forms, for example,
Okay.
or whatever. So you can take a look at the different roles and you can create specific roles as well. So it's kind of fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, there. Is there anything I'm missing?
I don't think so. Like, I think you've covered everything that we kind of need to know now, and this is great. And then we can go in there and see. And I've given you you've got your little list of things to do. And
Yep.
honestly, that is sort of the biggest area that needs to be dealt with. And
Okay,
yeah, it looks great.
It does
good,
look great. Yeah.
Hmm.
good. I'm really happy you're happy. That's great. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let me know if anything comes up, any questions. And in the meanwhile, I'll look into those things and start looking at those forms. And then I'll
perfect.
send you a note when I've got the answers and the forms done. You can take a peek.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
That's
Yeah,
great.
and this is a video, like this is a screen share video. So I'm gonna make a link out of this and I'll send it to you so you can always
Oh,
revisit it.
perfect.
And then
Perfect.
just to remember how to do things if you've forgotten, because it might be months before you need to go in and make a change to the
Oh,
text or something.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Well, it's nice to see you
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah, it was
Nice
nice to meet you
nice
face
and
to face.
I know.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, have a good rest of your day and
You
let me know
Thank
if
too.
you
you.
need anything.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.